Just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday. Today's topic is going to be the inability for people to actually be civil with each other, especially when it comes to topics like politics or religion. This is episode 106. Once again, guys, welcome. Appreciate you being here. The inspiration for tonight's topic kind of comes from, dealing with stuff online on like Facebook or whatever. And a big part of it, and that's why, like I've said in the beginning in this podcast, or when I first started the show, I am going to do my best to stay away from topics like religion and politics, because sadly, not many of us out here, or not many of us, period, could actually have civil conversations. And that's really sad that that's the case. And when I say that, what I mean is, like, take religion, for instance. Like, some people might be people that go to church, like myself, for instance. Well, I don't go to church right now because of my schedule, but because I get back, my current run, doing this Chattanooga run, I get done by I get back home by 6 a.m. and the two church service times at my actual my church campus that I go to, they have 8 o'clock and 11, and normally I would, if I was working Monday through Friday, and I would be going to the 11 o'clock service because I'm not an early morning person. But getting back at 6, I'm not gonna go to bed for 4.5 hours and get up and go to church. It just ain't happening. Because gotta catch up on sleep during my weekend off or whatever. So, but it's just so as far as religion goes, there's me and my bro Rico. Take us for example. He and I are complete. I wouldn't say complete opposites, but we're pretty different. Because I've read the Bible dozens of times, or rather, I should say, I've been through the Bible because I have an app that I go through sometimes where you listen to the Bible to get through the entire Bible in 90 days. So I was doing that for a while every single day, and was kind of tag team with my previous friend, Kirsten. And then I kind of, I'm kind of falling back a little bit because of, working on other stuff, or just, so I still listen and I still work on it, but I've been through it so many times that I kind of I backed off for a minute. Thought, all right, I need a break. It's like when you read the same book 20 or 30 times, you're like, all right, I'm gonna take some time, you know. But me and my bro Rico, we like literally, he's the same way. He's like, he doesn't, he says he deliberately doesn't get into conversations with people when it comes to religion, because they'll be like, oh my God, you're going to hell, and you know, and they'll be like, why? And they'll be, oh, because you don't believe this such and such way. But he and I can literally go back and forth, because you know, he'll literally present points of view on his end, like, and ask me questions about what about this, like this, like, it says this, and what about this, whatever, and I'll be like, you know, that actually is a really good point. But then because I've been through the Bible, you know, dozens of times, I'll counter it, and I'll be like, but what about this? Like, it says this, like, what do you think about this? Or this has happened, how do you explain this? And he'd be like, huh, I didn't think about that before. That's actually a really good point too. And like, that's the kind of, when it comes to like those touchy topics, you know, like for instance, like I said, like religion and politics and whatnot. Those are the kind of things that, like, you know, I have no problem talking to him about it, because he and I can both disagree and have different thoughts and different opinions about it. But we're not gonna like block each other. We're not getting mad at each other, or they're not spewing hate, whatever. You know, we're literally just having a nice civil conversation back and forth, and you know, just basically going about things like that. Like, it's not, you know, and that's how it should be. It should be, we should be able to actually talk to each other respectfully, and even if the other person doesn't agree, still be able to talk and say, okay, well, why do you feel the way you feel about it? Like, why do you feel that way about such and such candidate, or about, you know, why do you think this way about such and such? You know, and then be like, okay, I see your point. Like, I understand where you're coming from. Okay, that makes sense. But, you know, especially when it comes to politics, part of that, you know, well, back to the religion part, as far as me and Rico, he's even said the same thing. He's like, you know, yeah, like I love that, you know, I can talk to you about this topic, bro, because you and I are both like, you know, it's a nice civil conversation. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm like. I don't mind having the conversation, as long as I know that I'm not gonna get like people like cursing me out or something. Especially, so let's get to like, you know, and posting BS online. You know, that's like when somebody posts something or people are posting online memes that were created that are about a topic that they're misinformed. Like, just because other people said it. Like, for instance, take the, and I'm saying like the Olympics. Like, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about that fighter that beat in the women's competition or whatever. From what because I googled it and tried to like, all right, like what's the deal with this? Like, what's going on? And if you don't believe me, Google it, find out for yourself. But the fighter that won that fight, or the other female fighter, I guess, dropped to her knees and gave up or whatever. It's something I didn't actually read the whole thing, but I kind of went and looked, tried to research about that. I think she was like Albanian fighter or something. I don't know. I'd have to look again. It's been a little while since I looked it up. But they were saying like, oh, she got beat by a guy that's competing in a women's competition, and if you look it up, it's actually a woman, but she has like a disorder. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like a blood disorder or something that she has an extra chromosome, and she has a higher testosterone level than, you know, what she should, and so that's why, you know, she looks the way she does, and she's a little bit bigger, and, you know, looks a little bit more masculine than anybody. She was born with female parts. She doesn't have male anatomy. She has, but people, because they're seeing all the other memes online, they'll post and basically say, oh man, this is ridiculous, I can't believe this. And people will try to correct them, like, look, if you research it, look it up, like, here's the facts, and they'll be like, no, that's lies. Or political candidate stuff. It's like one of the candidates, You know, as far as the conviction or whatever, I've had people on my friends list that have tried to tell me that, well, he wasn't really convicted. That was all fake. And I'm like, how do you figure? Like, he was literally convicted by, he was tried, not jury, convicted, blah blah blah. Well, that was all staged. Okay, So I was like, I didn't argue with him. I'm like, all right. I was like, that's kind of weird that you think that, but okay, I was like, I'm not gonna argue with you because, again, online, I do my best. Like, my wife, she's different. Like, she'll actually post how she feels about certain candidates. She'll be like, no, like, this is this is how, like, we need this candidate because they're better, because they'll do much more. This candidate's like really bad, whatever. And I have a friend who, his mom is she's always like, she's very clearly, anti-Republican or whatever. She's like, always posting stuff, and of course, like, it's almost like you can grab popcorn and just scroll through her post, because, and it's sad too, because it's a fight between family members. Like, literally, she'll post and it'll be Trump this, Trump that, or whatever, and apparently a lot of her relatives and family members are on the opposite end, and they're lashing out at her on her comments about, like, she's blind and blah blah blah, and she'll come back like, oh yeah, you guys are just drinking the Kool-Aid, whatever. It's sad. I've actually commented a couple times that, guys, like this is stupid. Like, why are you guys posting hate or whatever about either side, and then fighting about it with friends and family on your posts? And one thing I read earlier on I don't know if you guys have it where you are, wherever you guys are listening to this episode, but in Nashville, and I'm pretty sure they have it everywhere, but it's called, like, Nextdoor. It's an app that basically you can try to figure out how to explain. It's kind of like people locally can post about either stuff happening locally. People can post things for sale. I've seen posts on there that pop up on my phone about like, hey, there's a lot of cops over such and such area, and what's going on. I saw a post this morning that said, like, this person was like, I'm not gonna say which candidate I support, but I put a sign in my yard. 24 hours later, it was gone. And so tomorrow I'm gonna put 2 signs out. If those disappear, I'm gonna put 4 signs out. If those disappear, I'm gonna put 8 signs out. And eventually, I'm just gonna get to a point where I'm gonna put a big ass banner all across the front of my house. And so if you drive down such and such and such, or down, if you drive down such and such street in such and such county or whatever, and you see a big house that has a big banner on it supporting one of the candidates, you know what happened. And then people were commenting, why don't you put signs in your window? And she's like, well, because I'd be afraid that I'm going to get a rock through my window. And that's sadly, that's the world we're in right now. People will destroy, like, let's say, and I'm not saying it's more Republican due to Democrat. I'm sure there's Democrat sides doing it to the, blue doing it to the red too. But it's sad that you can't put a sign in your yard without somebody destroying or stealing it, because, well, how dare you support a Republican, or how dare you support a Democrat? And they come onto your property and either destroy something or steal it, It's like, okay, like, but part of the thing as far as, like, the religious, or not the political side of this topic today is, and one of the things too, like, people will post random shit online, memes that people created, because of course they're gonna blame the president for this or blame him for that, such as, like, gas prices. And if you don't believe me, again, you can look this up too. I'm not just making this up. I'm just saying what I've learned from other people that I've talked to, as well as you can, look it up online. Somebody posted a picture that was created, and it showed gas prices back during Trump's presidency, and then it showed gas prices in California now, or it's like $5 a gallon or something, or whatever it is out there. And it had a picture of Trump on the low gas prices, and it had a picture of Harris on the high gas prices. It basically just said, here's what you're voting for in November. And again, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to just argue. I'm going to actually try to go get facts, you know, try to research. Went to Google, did a search, basically found, you know, an article basically saying the president has very little power when it comes to, like, they have very little influence on the gas prices. Like, yeah, they might make certain executive decision or executive orders, but they don't flip a switch and make the gas price go up or down. That's not how it works. And again, I'm not saying this to argue, I'm not making this up. If you don't believe me, please do go and search it up, you know, because you'll find that that's the case. But so I went and found this article. I took a screenshot, and all I did was I replied with a comment, and I posted that screenshot. No, you know, I didn't say anything like you're wrong, you need to research, you know, like quit posting BS. None of that. I'm not trying to spew hate or be vulgar or whatever. I literally just posted that, and then of course somebody, you know, replied to my comment, say like, or they mentioned me. That's why I got the little so-and-so mentioned you. I'm like, okay. So I went and looked, and Christopher, like, so you're telling me that him shutting down certain pipelines had absolutely nothing to do with it, huh? Do better. I came on there like, for fuck's sake. I was like, I replied with the facts. I didn't make it up. It's not my opinion. This is literally what I found online, and I screenshot and sent it here, and you're still coming at me with the same bullshit. I was like, maybe you need to do better. And then I thought about it after I commented, after I replied. I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to deal with this. It's not worth my time. You know, because obviously that's the problem with. So what I did is I basically blocked that person. I blocked, you know, I disconnected and blocked the person that did the original post, because, you know, I have a good number of people on my list that I'm probably going to clear out just because it's never information. Like, there's people that'll say political stuff, but usually it's not hateful. It's like, hey, you know, like, I really wish this would such. It's not memes showing Harris in a toilet saying time to flush, or memes showing Trump behind a set of bars saying he needs to go to jail, or stuff like that. Because guys, like, what are we accomplishing when we're doing that shit? You know? So it's like. So actually, I mean, I blocked a couple other people just because, you know, I saw they were posting similar stuff, because it's all, you know, Democrats this, Democrats that, and, you know, of course, then you got the blue side, Republicans this, Republicans that, you know. And one thing that when I blocked one person was because they, you know, they said like, no, like something about the military, and they said like no Democrat, just, you know, deserves to wear like no Democrat deserves to wear the uniform or something as far as like military personnel. I'm like, I'm former military, and I'm not necessarily, quote, Democrat. Like, I look at myself more as independent. Like, I voted Republican, I voted Democrat, you know, but I've also voted third party because I didn't like either candidate. Yes, I know people say that's, you know, you're wasting your vote, all that fun stuff, whatever. For me, the way I looked at it was wasting my vote was voting for somebody that I voting for people that I absolutely had no desire to see them in office, because I don't want to, you know, at the time I was like, I didn't want to pick the lesser of the two evils, you know. I understand why people will still vote one side versus the other, because, you know, they're like, well, I don't want that person to get it, so I'm going to vote for this person. Okay. I think at the election I voted on, I just felt very strongly against both of them, and I didn't want to vote for either. And I know they say you at least got to vote, so I voted, you know. But it's just like, even though I've seen posts with different memes about, like, for instance, the fighter, you know, with the Olympics, or posts about the gas prices or whatever, and I'm like, if people would only, before they randomly just post shit online, if they would at least Google it to find out if it's true, if it's factual, because a lot of people are just posting their opinion. You know, they're like, and if somebody doesn't agree with them, then they get pissed off at them, and they basically, some people want to hurt other people because they feel differently than them. We don't all have to agree, guys. You know, I don't have to agree with what you believe politically, or just like me and Rico, like we don't believe the same things as far as like religion goes. But he's like my best friend, man. You know, like he and I, probably chat a little bit every day. There's some days where we might not talk at all, but most days we talk at least a little bit, a couple clips, a couple voice clips back and forth, whatever. But we definitely are not on the same page as far as, religion goes. And, but yet he and I can sit and have a civil conversation. Like he can tell me how he feels about such and such, and what he believes, blah, blah, blah. And I can tell him what I feel, like based on what I've read, what I've learned and whatnot. Because that's one thing that I loved about, I would literally get through the Bible in 90 days, and I would restart the course on my app, and I would go through it again, get through the Bible again in 90 days. And the more I did it, every time I went through it, I would pick up something else. Like there'd be something else during that from Genesis all the way to Revelations. There'd be something that would jump out that I would hear that I go, oh, I didn't catch that before. It's interesting. I didn't really pick up on that. And so I would let Rico know, hey, this is like what I thought here, like what I heard this or I learned that. And he'd be like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. The same thing. He'd tell me something. I'd be like, you know what? You make a really good point. That's actually that really makes sense. I can see why you think that or whatever. But with politics, it's like people, it's like, I guess for me, like when part of what some of the elections, when like you'll hear what each candidate is promising, whatever, and then I'll look at both of them and I'll say which one do I think seems like not just the one that would be more likely to fulfill their promises to us, but which one is the better person? Like which one seems like, they got a more, like a better head on their shoulders. Maybe they're, like not talking about this election, but let's say there's an election where you got two candidates that, maybe on a personal opinion, maybe some people might think, hey, both these candidates, they're just really bad people. I don't like either of them. Like they're both just seem like they're evil. I don't like them. I'm not comfortable with the idea of either of them being the leader of this country. And so, it's like what, they got to vote for one just because, that's how the system works. On a podcast I was listening to recently, again, if you guys, you guys are looking for another podcast, there's at least two of them. 3 technically. So there's my brother Rico, he has a podcast. Go to blodgetshow.com/Rico, RICCO. He deals with like the history of hip hop and whatnot. Should have. I mean, I'm guessing he's probably gonna have a new episode coming up here shortly. I know he's recorded a few, but he said he's like some of them didn't sound good, so he hasn't done them yet or hasn't finished them yet. But I think he said he had one in the works that he was gonna upload pretty soon, but I haven't seen one post, so I don't know. But blodgetshow.com/Rico, check his out. Another one, the two of the other main, I have like a handful of them. There's like Lore, Lore. That's a pretty good one. But the 2 main ones I listen to right now are What Was That Like? The host is Scott Johnson. I kind of like felt myself kind of get tongue-tied there when I was saying that. Pretty cool podcast. You can definitely go check him out. You can find him at whatwasthatlike.com as well. And the other one that I'm currently on is called Meredith For Real, A Curious Introvert. Really, really amazing stuff. But yeah, so I think, let's see, one of the guys that Meredith was interviewing on her podcast was talking about how the 2-party system is broken. And he was saying how technically they could fix the whole thing. Do away with the whole 2-party system and make everything better. But I believe him not, because it's been a couple episodes back. It's funny because I'm working backwards. I'm working from the newest ones and working my way back towards the oldest ones, even though usually I go episode 1 all the way to the end. But this time I did it differently. I just start at the end, or start the current and working my way back. But this guy had said that they could actually fix it. He actually knows how to fix it, but the 2 parties they wouldn't do that because they would lose power. Like they wouldn't have as much power as they do now. So sadly, it's never gonna happen. But just like I was telling somebody earlier that it would be cool to have not just the president, but just government in general that would want to help everybody. I'm not talking about people coming in illegally and stuff like that. I mean everybody in the country, American, whatever. Something that would help us all out. Not, which I appreciated the occasional stimulus. The like $1,200 that we got like once or twice or whatever. That was pretty nice. It helped. Whenever we got it, me and my wife, and I think we got it for our kids too. So that was pretty awesome. So a lot of bills got paid. I think I was able to get, because I'd had a CPAP machine that was really old at that point. I wasn't able to afford to get a new one. And so that's literally what that helped accomplish, was I was able to actually get a brand new CPAP machine for my sleep apnea and do what I gotta do because, making money, but we paid like $2,200 in rent. It's like Nashville prices is pretty expensive. California, I can only imagine. My wife's recommended moving out there, and I was like, yeah, no. I was like, I'd rather go somewhere where cost of living is a lot less, so that we could keep more of our money versus like have the bulk of it going out. So, hold on a second, let's see. Just checking to see what the percentage on my battery is here real quick, so that I know I don't like have my my phone die on you guys while I'm trying to get this episode recorded for you. Because it'll be like middle of a sentence, all of a sudden powering down shit. So we should be able to, it's like I don't understand like why it is that people think it's acceptable to post crap, to literally post memes, show, like for instance, when I saw the meme earlier of like Harris in a toilet saying time to flush, I'm like, or they say like Harris is like, or it's like when you've seen what somebody did, and again, I'm not saying which side of, because I'm not really a fan of the Republicans or the Democrats right now. Like I said, I agree with the two-party system's broken, but when that like one candidate has been convicted of a certain thing, like 34 counts, but then when a friend of mine was arguing, he's a great man. Are you sure? And I'm not saying he isn't a great man. I'm just saying like, okay, like again, give me like send me like tell me like show me like documentation. You know what they say, documentation beats conversation. So when somebody is telling me like this candidate, whether it's hey Harris is such she's a great person or whatever, she did such and such, I'm like, all right, do you have proof? Like can I see evidence? Like send me an article that says what she did, or that or same thing with Trump, like, oh, Trump loves America, he does this, he does that, and I'm like, is there proof is there documentation to back that up, or is this just you speaking what you believe, which we all have a right to our opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. And, and if you disagree, then it's, well, you're a fucking loser, it's like, like, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 and I'm like, so many people post and like yell so much nonsense out there without any facts to back it up, and they spew a lot of hatred about whether it's hatred towards the blue or hatred towards the red, but they don't have anything to back it up. They just have their opinion. They just, oh, I saw this meme, it must be true. Like, look, I saw this meme that had a picture of Trump on the cheap side and a picture of Harris on the expensive gas side. It said this is what you're voting for in November, so it must be true. And the funny thing was, I blocked a few people that posted that because because I was like, I'm not getting into it. Nope, not doing it. And then like, I have an uncle, Uncle Al. You know, love you. You know, if you're listening to this, you know, I apologize about using your post as an example, but I came across my Uncle Al's post or whatever, and it's like, I was like, because he posted the same image, and I wanted to comment like, Uncle Al, like, really, like, you know, like, fucking Google it, look it up. If you're gonna post stuff, you know, that's the problem with social media. People post stuff, they don't like check it, you know, make sure that they're actually posting real stuff. They're posting things that other people posted. Oh my God, look at this. Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's true. You know, because a lot of us, you know, we don't want to. We're like, a lot of us aren't just gonna take what somebody says as fact. We're gonna actually look it up. And there's been times I've looked up stuff and basically found out that what they posted actually was real. I was like, oh, that's true. Okay, wow. But then there's times where somebody posted something, and I went and I was like, I don't know, that doesn't sound right. I went and looked it up, and basically found out that they were completely wrong. And most of the time when I do that, when I find that, I a lot of times just I won't put a reaction on the post, like a heart or a like, and I'll just keep scrolling. You know, like I said, most of the time I do the fly on the wall when I'm scrolling through Facebook or whatever. And if people are posting crap, like hating on one side or hating on the other, I usually just keep going. You know, but the one, I guess with the one today, actually, it was like, because I had heard quite a bit. There's a lot of people that'll blame the president for the gas prices. If you guys don't believe me, look it up. The president doesn't have absolute power on everything. Yeah, he can do executive orders, but then, of course, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Congress can actually end up like changing things. Like if he does an executive order about something, Congress can take a vote and actually like reverse it or something. I'm not sure how that works since I'm not a congressman or whatever, you know. But yeah, he can do executive orders, but he doesn't have absolute authority to basically just enact everything at once. And there are certain things like the whole Project 2025 thing that basically, from what I've read about it, sounds pretty scary to me, you know. It's like, because it should never be one party having all the power and being able to get rid of the other party or whatever, or do whatever they want, get rid of the judges, get judges in there that want, you know. It's like, and plus that, like, there's always that argument too about that, before Biden stepped down, about how we had two really old candidates, and me and my wife, I was telling her, I was like, hell, I would run, but I'm not rich, and I'm pretty sure like that's usually a big key factor, because somebody who's running for office and has like millions and millions of dollars, and they're able to basically funnel a lot of that into their campaign and advertising and stuff, and so they have a better chance of actually getting elected because they can reach a lot more people. Whereas somebody like me, I don't think I'd be that effective. Although I've jokingly said to people like, I'd run for president one day, but I highly doubt I'd get elected because I don't have the financial resources to back it up. You know, and so it's like, you know, but I know that I was talking to a friend earlier. Shout out to Judd. Fist bump, man. Hope you're doing well. But he was telling me earlier, he was like, yeah, you know, the problem, like, yeah, politicians really suck because they're all liars. You know, they would just say what they know you want to hear and whatever. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, because sadly, like, that's how they get elected. Like, they're just gonna tell you what they want or what you want to hear, and then they're gonna just go off and basically they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do to become rich themselves, you know, make millions of dollars, secure their position, you know, in office or whatever, whether it's like senators, congressmen, and whatnot. But I was like, yeah, it'd be nice. Like, I was like, that's why, like, if I were to ever try to get into government office, I would try to be one of the honest ones, you know, and try to go in there and try to actually go in and say like look at the whole thing. Okay, what kind of things, what issues do we have here in America? Like, what's wrong with this country? Like, where people having such and such issues, where people struggling the most? Like, why, you know, and try to come up with a plan for how to try to, you know, fix as much of the things that are wrong as possible, versus like just, you know, a couple items, like I'm gonna fix the border, or I'm gonna like fix this issue, you know, I'm gonna tax breaks for the rich, or, you know, just cut, like, where they list a couple of the main items that they want to do, versus like I'm gonna try to make taxes better for everybody, you know, more like make it where everybody is paying the same percentage or something, or, you know, or like, you know, set up a process to help with like the immigration stuff that people are always complaining about and stuff, and you know, or like maybe like for me, for instance, like somebody, let's take food stamps for instance. Like, we have a lot of bills, and there have been weeks where miles were down, and so like literally my whole check went out to like the bills, and you know, got a little bit of groceries, but otherwise like the pantry is pretty bare, and like we were like, I made sure to be able to at least get the grocery supplies to where I could meal prep for my work week, so I could bring a meal out here to eat up at the hub when I'm, you know, at the swap point. But otherwise, like, we didn't have much of anything at home. Like, we had some waffles, you know, we had some drinks in the fridge, like milk and whatnot, and we had like some cereal, and we had bread, and the bare basics, like maybe stuff for Hamburger Helper for a couple nights. But otherwise, we didn't really have much of anything. And like, one of the things that sucks is that the people that can get help are, a lot of times, it's people that, I know there's people that are working that are getting help, but I know there's a lot of people that, you know, they're not working or whatever, and they fully take advantage of the system, and so they end up getting like 1,000 or whatever a month in food stamps. And then you got people like me, you know, we have 5 of us at least in our household. We got me, my wife, my 2 kids, and my grandkid, and you know, we basically shop every week, a little bit here, a little bit there, to kind of get the bare basics. And we don't necessarily eat healthy. Most of it's pasta, because again, if you're trying to eat healthy with like a lot of vegetables, or, you know, like not eating high fat, whatever, it's going to cost a lot more. And like, eventually things get better. It's been actively paying down certain debts. Like, my truck will be paid off, my Ram will be paid off in like the next couple months, and then I'll be working on paying off my wife's Jeep, which will take another year or 2 from that. And, you know, I got rid of a bunch of other debts. Like, we had Rent-A-Center for a while, and it's one of those things, like, we got our bedroom set, paid that off. We got my daughter's bedroom set, because she had like an old bunk bed that we'd had for like a decade or more. That used to be my oldest bunk bed, and then it got hand me down to my youngest. And so she had that for a while, and then I finally, you know, because I wanted her to have an actual nice bedroom, and be happy with it. You know, I went through Rent-A-Center again, and I got her bedroom set. Took about 2 years to pay that off, you know, because you know how you're overpaying for it, but like, not many of us out here, when we're, you know, not really well off, we're making decent money, but we're just trying to basically like slowly work our way towards that dream, the American dream, you know. So it's like, you know, slowly got that pay. Like, we don't have the money to. It's one of those, like, and I apologize, guys. You know, it's one of those things where you're talking about a topic, but like, my mind is going a million miles a minute. So I'm trying not to jump around, but, you know, but like, not a lot of us out here, when we're basically not really well off, but we might be making good money, but we just basically we might not have $1,000 to drop on a phone. If like our phone goes out or something, or $1,500 to drop on a bedroom set. You know, like we end up paying like $2,500 for the phone. They're doing the rent to own type stuff, or $3,000 for the bedroom set. You know, by the time it's all paid off, and so, you know, it's just. But I got so I had like one bedroom set paid off, another bedroom set paid off. We had a washer that went bad, that quit working on us. So of course, like our current washer was through Rent-A-Center, got that paid off. Was trying to pay around the time when I was paying the washer off. I was like, all right, you know, I was looking at maybe I would like pay off everything and not have anything for a minute. But then our deep freeze quit working. So like we had a lot of stuff in our deep freeze, like a lot of steak and chicken and whatnot, you know. Veggies I wasn't worried about. It was the meat that was like, man, you can kind of tell you're taking stuff out and it's not quite as frozen as it normally would be, and there's like water at the bottom. And oh crap. So I bit the bullet. I went to Rent-A-Center again and basically got a deep freeze. We got rid of the old one. We got rid of probably about half the food because some of it was in the bottom of the freezer that had been in water when it started to melt. So replaced that, and then was trying not to do anything else. My phone, I had my phone for like 2.5 years at that point, and was planning to like try to save up for like 8 months to go ahead and just, you know, pay cash for a new one to upgrade to the next Pixel. And it it started going bad on me. Like literally, line haul with FedEx was trying to call me, and I would be looking at my phone, and you know, literally have my phone in front of me, and it would just bloop, missed call, and I'd be like, what the fuck? And I'd try to call back, and it would just ring, like I wouldn't get anybody, or it wouldn't even go through. It would be, nope, your call could not go through as dialed. And then I would look at my phone again, and it would be, bloop, missed call. I'm like, what the hell? So then I call and I get them. This time they answer the phone. Like, what the hell is wrong with your phone? I'm like, I have no fucking idea. So then I bit the bullet and I went to Rent-A-Center and I upgraded my phone to the next Pixel. Paid on that for probably 1.5 years. Recently paid it off the last probably been like 3 or 4 months where I made the last payment on it. That was my last account that I've had with Rent-A-Center. I still get texts from them, the whole advertisement like, use your ownership credits to get a new item. You can get the first week free, blah, blah, blah. And I literally messaged back, I'm going, the only thing I'm interested in is an upgrade to like the 8 or the 9 of the Pixel. I said, I can save up and probably pay a lot less for it. But if you guys can get me into it with not a lot of money down, I would do it. They're like, well, at first it was, well, we require, like, we need like 300 down. I'm like, yeah, it's just too much out of pocket for me. I'm not. And then they would continue messaging me, and I said, hey, again, like I said before, guys, the only thing I'm interested in is upgrading my phone. Like, you know, I'm good with my phone right now. It's good. Like, I have no problems with it. It's not acting up. But like, but I obviously would like to get the newer one. But I can wait. You know, trying to do the whole like not necessarily jump at the shiny object syndrome. You know. It's like, yeah, if they could get me into it, I would do it. But if they can't, then I'm just gonna stay where I'm at. You know? Especially when I said like I don't want to pay 300 down and then pay $45 a week for it. I'd rather, if you can get me into it, I want to pay a very minimal down. I'll still pay $50 a week. That's fine. You pay for a year or whatever. Now it's, well, we don't carry that phone anymore online. Like all we have is what we have in the store. I'm like, all right, cool. So they still message me, but now I don't reply to them. Now I don't have any communication with them because I'm doing my best to not add any new accounts, if that makes sense, you know? So, but back to you kind of got a little bit of a rant there, but the point is, guys, and I want to apologize if anything that I've talked about tonight, I was not trying to offend either side, Republican or Democrat, religious or non-religious. Was literally my intent tonight was basically just to talk about how like it's sad that we can't, that with today's age, you know, with people nowadays that it's so much more common for us to fight about stuff, for us to show hatred towards each other because we don't have the same beliefs that somebody else does. You know, like somebody being a true supporter of Harris complaining about somebody, like going off on somebody that's a Trump fan, or a Trump fan that's going off on somebody that's a Democrat, saying Democrats are all worthless scum, whatever. They're bad for the country, whatever. And like people that they see them come back and argue, like, so you're saying that Trump is a better person than them? And it's like, I'm watching these fights on Facebook and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I think, my personal opinion, but I think that we should be able to support whoever the hell we want to support and not be afraid for, like, that we're going to have backlash, or afraid for our life, that we're going to get attacked, that somebody's going to, like, destroy our property, that they're going to try to attack and hurt us or kill us because we don't feel the same way they do. It's like, but that's what social media, like Facebook, is sadly that's what it's all about now, is people making memes to make certain claims about certain people or whatever. I mean, not just political candidates, but like certain topics in general. They'll just do memes about certain stuff that's not accurate. That they it's their opinion, that it's what they believe happened, but obviously if they would Google it, they'd find out they were wrong. But they're not gonna, how dare anybody say that this is not fact, like, you need to research this. Well, shut the fuck up, man. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, fucking Democrat. Okay. So, that is why I do the approach I do. And normally I wouldn't have done an episode about politics or religion at all. And I tried my best in this episode to not speak out about either candidate, either side, Republican or Democrat. Like I said, I tend to identify more towards the third party, but I don't know if I would go that route this election, because I've heard that basically what I've been told is that Kennedy, that he's very much like has the same beliefs as Trump. He just doesn't say it the same. He's not as outspoken about it as Trump is about everything. So I don't know. Like right now, I can't say one way or the other. Kind of, I'm still on the fence, but we still have a couple months. Like I'm getting information. I'm listening to what each candidate's saying and stuff like that. But I'd rather not say, like out loud, pick a side. Because hey, like I said, like everybody can pick who they want to pick. Technically, it's no one else's business. Unless you're posting online, then of course you're making it everyone else's business. But my point is, guys, and again, I hope I didn't offend anybody tonight. That wasn't my intent. My point tonight has been that we should be able to have conversations about these kind of topics, and be like 100 people who don't agree with each other it's like a jury, when like a jury of 12 or whatever, they go back and deliberate about the person that was being judged because of, like, they committed murder, or whatever the crime they're being accused of, and they go back and they talk amongst themselves for a couple hours or a couple days or a couple weeks, depending on how long they deliberate, and they have to come to a decision together, and sometimes you might have 11 out of the 12 that feel that they're guilty, but you have one that, well, I don't know, and so they can't rule them guilty because they didn't all 12 of them agree, but you don't see them threaten the person's life because he or she feels differently than the other 11. Like, I mean, everybody has a right to have an opinion either way, and so I wish politics was that way, where we could all come together, and, like, you could have some people be like, well, this is why I think that red is the best for the country, and blah blah blah, and other people, this is why I think blue, and others say, like, well, I don't like either one. I think that we should go with the non-affiliated candidate because we need to go away from the two-party system, and they would actually do such and such for the country or whatever, and not have anybody get mad, but it just be a discussion, like, and everybody kind of explain their point, and stuff like, this is why I feel this way, whatever, and others be like, that makes a lot of sense, like, I can see why you feel that way. That's what it should be like. It should be, just people communicating and stuff, saying, this, I believe this is what I've heard, and this is how I feel based on this information. And if somebody points out that you're posting something about a topic that is false, that people have actually given you actual documentation about it being wrong, and you still lash out at them and call them stupid, call them dumbasses, call them an idiot, that means that the system, that our whole system is broken. You can just tell just by seeing the way people talk to each other. Like, people posting false shit, other people trying to correct them, people then going off of them, saying that they're dumbasses or whatever. You must be a Democrat, whatever. It's like, look, guys, shut up, come on. It's like, why does there have to be so much hatred on both sides, I just don't get it. But anyway, guys, I've talked your ear off long enough. I hope that you found value in this episode. Again, wasn't trying to offend anybody at all, but I'm just giving you, that's why these Tuesdays are called Real Talk, because I'm gonna talk to you guys about whatever might be inspired about, whatever topic I might be inspired about at the time, and just try to put some real talk out there, something for you guys to think about, and things like, it's just, I would go out there to say that I don't think that either side, blue or red, is bad. I don't think the third party, independent, I don't think they're bad. Like, people that say that, the Democrats are going to ruin the country, come on now. Because Democrats say the same thing about Republicans. They say Republicans are going to destroy everything. I've heard people say Harris is the Antichrist, and I've also heard that people say Trump is the Antichrist. It's like you're gonna hear it on both sides. You're gonna hear the same, people spewing the same thing back and forth, and people fighting, like family members fighting, and like stop talking to each other because one of their family members believes such and such, and they don't believe that way or whatever. And they stop talking and they lose contact all because of fucking politics. It's like, really? Like, I don't know about you, but for me, like, my relationship with my family, like, not just my immediate family here, but like my parents, thankfully my parents and I aren't on opposite sides as far as politics. We tended to kind of feel the same way when it comes to like political candidates and whatnot. But even if we didn't, let's say they voted Democrat and I voted Republican or something, and I wouldn't let that destroy my relationship with my parents. Like, us stop talking and us like hating each other or whatever. We just probably wouldn't. It's one of those things where you just don't, if it's a touchy subject, you just don't, like, you literally just deliberately don't talk about it. Like, I've had friends that, we'll be talking about stuff. Like, I have my friends that are, because I'm not as much towards the Republican side. I'm always geared more towards, like I said, the Democratic side, or more often the third party, but it really depends. Like, I try to base my decisions not on, hey, I'm hardcore Republican, hardcore Democrat. Because there's a lot of people out there that literally, they just vote because, well, I've always been Democrat, so I'm going to vote Democrat. Or I've always been Republican, so I'm going to vote Republican. And then there's people like me who I'm like, I vote for whoever I feel is the best candidate, whoever I feel is like a good person, who I actually, like, I feel like I can trust them to actually follow through with their promises. That's how I've approached it all the time. But I've had friends that like we're opposite. Like I said, Rico, like, but he and I can talk pretty openly and not have any issues, we can both be respectful, and actually we're not gonna get mad at each other and stuff. And I've had other friends that they'll literally make a comment to me about their, like, who they're supporting, like, oh, this person's a great person or whatever. And I will literally come back and go, you know what, out of respect for you and because I value our friendship, I don't want us to, like, I don't want to put a rift between us. I think I'm gonna refrain from having this kind of conversation with you about, like, this topic, because I don't want to say something to piss you off, and I don't want you to say, I don't want to fight, pretty much. Like, I'd rather just, like, you can believe how you want to believe, I'll believe what I'll have my opinion, you can have your opinion, and we'll just talk about something else, and there's nothing wrong with that, like, if you can't actually, if you believe so strongly about something that it has to be your way or the highway, then instead of posting crap online trying to start fights with people, because people online aren't going to always agree with you, and so it's like you posting something that that there's going to be people on the other side that are going to strongly disagree with or whatever, and it turns into, like, all these, like, hateful comments on their posts. Wouldn't it be a lot more effective, a lot better use of your time to just not say anything? Like, I don't know if you guys grew up the same way, but when I grew up, I was taught if you don't have something nice to say, then you should just not say anything at all. But people are like, oh yeah, well, that's such a pussy. It's like, no, that's just being respectful of others, because we're not all gonna have the same feeling, we're not all gonna have the same opinion. So, it's like, what's the purpose of deliberately starting a fight? It's like, what's the point? And then people will get involved, they'll get really angry, they'll get into a fight, next thing you know, someone's hurt or killed, and then of course somebody else goes to prison for the next 20 years to life or whatever, because they acted out against somebody they didn't agree with. And it's like, it's just not worth it. It's like lives are ruined because of like disagreements that could have just basically just been, okay, I respect your opinion, like I hear you, I don't have to agree with you, but I hear you. So, point tonight, guys, just to, we just need to, like, I just really wish we, as a society, had the ability to get away from all the negative shit that we post, all the hateful shit, the memes about, politicians or whatever, showing them in, like, toilets or whatever, saying must flush, or, hell, even memes of Trump showing him behind bars or something. Man, we just need to get away from all that crap. But anyway, guys, as always, I appreciate you tuning in and listening. I try to come up with at least some really good topic for you each week for Real Talk. And of course, I am looking into trying to come up with a plan for I can start getting stories back going again for Fridays. I know currently I've got my novel in the works, and I just started putting together started working on the volume 1 of the Blodgett Show short stories, because obviously as the stories continue coming out, there's going to be more volumes. So right now we have, in the works, we have Blodgett Show Podcast Short Stories Volume 1. Not sure when I'll get it published, but right now I started at least getting it together. And so, gonna put that one together, get it all ready to basically start getting edited and start working on the final, the steps towards getting it actually published. That way I get listed on the website. Not just have it listed on Amazon, but listed on the blodgettshow.com website for listeners to go directly and buy from there if they want to. But I'm always about moving forward, so it's like taking steps every day to move forward, do what we got to do. Whether it's a little bit of progress here, a little bit of progress there, we got to keep moving forward, work towards our goals, work towards our dreams. So, for anybody, if you find value in the show and you actually, feel free to hit that subscribe or follow button. And anybody who wants to support the show, feel free to go to blodgettshow.com/support. You can support the show for as little as $1 per month, or you can do it once, like a one-time contribution. But aside from that, I know there's a bunch of other things I'd usually... If you look at the website at blogitshow.com/promotions, there is... and I apologize, I'm actually getting here to my Chattanooga delivery. So, but for anybody who wants to, like, if you've been wanting to learn how to, like, if you're an affiliate marketer, but you don't feel like you're very good or want to learn more, when you don't want to master that skill, I have a course for you that you can check out. Go to go to blogitshow.com/affiliate, I believe. Yeah, blogitshow.com/affiliate is basically like some of the different sites and whatnot. I've actually set up a link on the blogitshow.com website that'll then redirect. That's why it's like blogitshow.com/Rico takes you to Rico's Spotify podcast. So, but blogitshow.com/affiliate for anybody who wants to learn how to do digital marketing. Got a $49 course for that. Go to blogitshow.com/digital49. And if you are let's say you're passionate about cooking, but you're not very good at it, you want to learn you love to be able to educate yourself and actually become better at it, I have a course for that too. Go to blogitshow.com/masterchef. And again, like I said earlier, go ahead and check out those. If you're looking for other podcasts, go check out Meredith Friel, the Curious Introvert, and What Was That Like? I think you guys will get a kick out of those. Very, very cool hosts, very cool shows. So, but on that note, guys, hope everybody has a great rest of your week, and I look forward to talking to you again. At the very latest, as always, at least on Real Talk Tuesday. But if I can get a story together, then we'll have a story on Friday. So, but at the very least, I will see you guys again on Real Talk Tuesday. Keep pushing forward, keep believing. Believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there. And then you just have to go out there and do it. We don't have to be, we should be able to be compassionate and actually like civil towards each other. It's like there's too much hate in the world as it is. Too many people get, dying senseless deaths, whatever. People just killing other people or hurting other people. It's not worth it. Come on. But anyway, guys, on that note, you guys have a great rest of your week. I will talk to you next time. Have a good one.